Alright, so Grixis friends, to wrap things up. Maybe blue-white skies instead of Grixis friends. So, Nivik, I would be happy to cut blue-white skies in. So, these next two decks are backed up with a lot of points, Nivik. So, we will get blue-white skies after red-black mid-range, but Punchworthy dumped a pile of bits to get the first three today. So, I'm not going to let him get overwritten. And I had a bit of a backup over the weekend. Thank you for the biddies. I appreciate it. Grixis friend. Someone had mentioned Ritual of Soot. Ritual of Soot versus Cry of the Canarium. I like maxing on Ritual of Soot for a couple of reasons. First, while I know that Ritual of Soot's worse against the white aggro deck on average, it's much better against Sultai a lot of the time. And it tends to be better against mono blue, even though it costs one more mana, because getting Tempest shit off the table is a big deal, and killing Scary Terry even after he's adapted is a big deal. So, we have a blue-black with a small red splash for Angrath here, which is interesting. How many red sources are in this mana base before I dive in? I might actually do... oh, we've got Compass to find the red source. That's funny. So, we've got 5, 6, 7, 8 red sources. I think I want 2 more red sources in the deck, especially with the Bedevils out of the board. I'm going to add a Blood Crypt and a Steam Vents to this deck. So let's get that in and let's dive in. Yeah, the fact that Ritual of Soot kills Hydroid Grixis too is a really big deal. Sure. Sure, I can't persuade you more. We're definitely doing Grixis next, because Punchworthy dropped a bunch over the weekend. So we're definitely playing Super Friends now. What was Skies at before? Another Esper matchup. So here's the thing, Weens. I disagree with your statement. And it's not only I disagree with your statement, mathematics disagrees with your statements. Why do you think the mana is suspect? The number, and this is something that people do a lot that you need to break yourself of. The number of basics in your deck has nothing to do with how castable your spells are. The math behind the hyper geo calculations is what determines how castable your spells are. So I conceded there, and that concession is going to feel early to some people, but I conceded there because we had infinite cards in our hand that just didn't have text boxes in that matchup, and we're just going to move along rather than play through a bunch of garbage time. All right, so what do we want to do? What do we want to do here? I feel like the sideboard has too many counter spells for this matchup. I guess Nightveil Predator is pretty bad here. Maybe I don't need 4 Contempts and 3 Bedevils. I guess this actually feels pretty reasonable. I guess that's not unreasonable. I wonder if 3 Negates is better than having some Disdainful Stroke, since I have all these Duresses as well. I thought the Mythic Championship was a lot of fun. I will have my full thoughts on the Mythic Championship on Cool Stuff Inc. on Wednesday. Hey, Pete Head, thanks for the 20 of my months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, here's hoping they miss a land drop. kind of looking for a threat here, right? I'd really like to draw a Thief of Sanity next turn. They left Kaya's Wrathed, okay. So our early concession confused them as to what exactly we're doing, so that's nice. Enjoy some of my tax returns. Will do, Nivik. Alright. We're just gonna stream till I'm ready to pass out today then. A lot of things with a lot of points. Thief of Sanity, huh? What are the odds? What are the odds they have a 2-mana counterspell here? Feels low. Perfect. And now I can do Eldest Reborn with Negate up, so let's do that. Really glad we drew the land, apparently. I guess this lets them stick Teferi next turn, but then I can Bedevil Teferi, so that's probably fine. I'm gonna take part of your tax return and use it to go pay my tax bill. It's good loop for the government. Hey, Hits Leo, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one. I appreciate it. Now what? Also, someone said that they have a crown down. I have to respect them. Who was it, and how can my money make them sad? This is Punchworthy's last deck of the day, so I don't think they're gonna be sad. I don't skip decks in the middle anymore. I would love a Teferi. Thank you for asking. Why not upkeep the Bedevil? Yeah, you're right. I probably should upkeep it.
I won't hide from the world any longer.
I won't hide from the world any longer.
Keep up the pace.
Ooh, that's a good draw. Because now I get to campaign and then erasure and then campaign. The Disinformation Campaign engine is probably really good against Esper. So I'm going to take their Contempt here, just because that's the one that gives them the flexibility to time things. The Eldest Reborn, while it's the more powerful card, it's more expensive and has more restrictive timing. Oh, you know what? I messed up here. I forgot Teferi was going to untap my lands. I should have played this, then still had Negate up. I forgot I had a Teferi untap coming. I forgot I had a Teferi untap coming. Oh. Hurry. This deck's probably a pretty good choice if we're playing against Esper, huh? This deck's probably a pretty good choice for playing against Esper. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, just you weren't planning on using those cards, were you? Were those something I could do? Did you want to do something with those?
We need to move quickly.
We need to move quickly. Listen, I like a little bit of Fox News on occasion, okay? Don't judge me. I like a little bit of Fox News, okay? When Esper is popular, Fox News is good. I appreciate the opponent conceding once we were full on into garbage time there. That was nice of them. Yeah, this hand's great. Sign me up. This hand is really good until we get Duress and Thought Erasure a bunch. Oh, discard spell into Thief. Let's do it. In 11 months, Justin taught me how to concede, how math works, and what magic is a pink-haired man's game. What's going on, Renagash? I appreciate the 11 months. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. So, I think I just take their erasure here. This Thief of Sanity is like dead as a doornail no matter how I slice it. I do get to stick Disinformation Campaign next turn though, which is nice. Hey, Anonamic, thanks for the 6 months as well. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. So, because they drew the untapped lands here, I'm just going to go ahead and jam Thief, I think. There's no way we're going to play enough discard spells to get through all their removals. Let's just, like, use my mana and get rid of one of them. I don't really want to run Disinformation Campaign into the Absorb here. I think I would rather have Campaign than Karn here, especially with the Vraska's Contempt they have in hand. They might just let this resolve and then Contempt it. This is really good for me. I guess they have Mortify in hand too, so it doesn't really matter. Although, like, this is still a 3-for-1 if they Mortify it, right? Like, I drew a card, they discarded a card, they Mortified, which is like a good exchange for us. So, like, playing the Karn out into the removals, into the counterspell is still good, because if this gets countered, it's a 1-for-1 as opposed to a 3-for-1. I'm gonna go ahead and take their Campaign now, so they can't draw a counterspell to protect it. That was the best draw. Alright, waiting on some CA. On some card advantage. The good news is we have a Teferi covered, which is nice. Wheel. Is a climb deck you played at Twitch Rivals bad against us for control? No, I don't think so. I think you're maybe a little bit behind game 1, but you're definitely favored in 3. Welcome. Welcome to Esper, or as I like to call it, Bedevil's a lot worse than Mortify. Grixis, sorry, welcome to Grixis. Welcome to Grixis. Could you imagine if those Bedevils were just Mortifies in our hand? How much better off we'd be there? That's a big part of the reason, right? If you look at this deck, it's probably just a little bit worse. Like, Angrath plus Bedevil is probably worse than just playing Mortify plus Teferi. Because, like, we could slot Teferi into the Disinformation campaign shell still. Alright, against turn 1 Watery Grave, I'm actually going to hold on to this Discovery, so hopefully I can play it after Disinformation Campaign. Yep. So, like, that board state there, right? Like, I'm conceding because they had Azcant and I can't check it. And, like, I had 2 Bedevils in my hand that had they been Mortifies, I would have been able to kill their enchantment and keep playing Magic. Oh, I kind of need a second blue, but I also don't really want to draw another land, so I'm going to go ahead and ditch that there. Oh, I just assumed, weird. Okay, well, awkward. I just assumed they were going to take card there. So obviously, I should have played card last turn. Alright, they have Contempt. That makes, doesn't really matter. I guess I could have activated Thaumatic Compass this turn otherwise. Probably dead here, again, because of that virtual card advantage that we talk about. Like, we have 3 cards in our hand versus their 5, but in reality, I only have 1 card in my hand because Cast Down doesn't have a text box here. I guess because they're on Grixis, maybe they have things like Thief of Sanity that could turn our Cast Downs on. Kentry, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Welcome, welcome. If they play Bolas, this gains a text box and gets to discard a card. And like the fact that like this control deck doesn't have something like Sarkhan in it in order to discard extra cards that we have is a big deal. Because they are also playing Grixis, I guess there's a chance that, like, they also draw enough bricks that we could have a chance here. They don't have, like, a Teferi to run away with the game. Bolt Angel. A bird told me about a certain punk command. I can't wait to see what it'll do. Thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. Thomzord. Thanks for the $5 tip. Hope you're having a good one. Ever thought about removing the graphics of your overlay? Nope. I think the overlay is great. That's why it's there. And like, Arena has enough dead space that we're not really taking up. We're not really taking up space with the overlay that would otherwise be used for something constructive.
Back to the devil's chains in the storm. No fire, no steel.
Alright, well, they have Thief, so that's good. The overlay just kind of changed recently. I added the subscriber point bar as a thin thing, but I actually made the chat smaller because they adjusted some other things. I'm gonna Discovery to start here because I could find Disinformation Campaign. I'm gonna hold on to this until I have a spell that's relevant. They have a 7th land here. They flip this and bury us. We could have dispersaled and taken the Nicol Bolas. I don't think that's a good line because dispersaling is basically like card disadvantage here just because my opponent's hand likely has a bunch of removal spells that aren't going to be relevant in it. There goes the audio. We'll reboot here in a second. Let's play card. This Grixis land deck is sweet. I agree. These people are great. Buy their stuff. These people also great. Buy their stuff. I'm actually playing in the Nerd Rage tournament this weekend, so that should be fun. It's standard. Back to the arena. Into the arena we go. I guess I could have drawn another Karn and then down-ticked and picked up Teferi there. I really feel like if we're losing matchups like this, like if this deck's not super favored against the other control decks, it's probably just not very good. Because like this is definitely going to be worse against aggro than something with access to Kaya's Wrath, right? In fact, I'm not going to board in all these negates just because I'm going to leave 3 Duress and 3 negates. It definitely feels worse than like the Jund and Jeskai decks that we played before this one as far as friends decks go. Yeah, Nerd Rage does streaming coverage for every single one of their tournaments. They're not like Magic Fest. They cover their tournaments. Twitch.tv/NRG series. Make sure you give them a follow. A little bird told me I'll probably be their feature match round 1, so you'll be able to see me play at least once, even if I end up scrubbing out. Hashtag sorry I'm a liability. Sorry, Watsy. I believe it starts at 10 cornfield time. Sounds right. The new mulligan rule cannot get here soon enough. Please, and thank you. I'm playing Team or Climb at the tournament this weekend. Same deck I played in the Twitch Rivals tournament. Deck's great. Speaking of... oh, fish, actually. Yay, commands. Yeah, this deck's felt like a kind of friendly reminder of why Grixis is just not particularly good this season. Just kind of clunky without powerful answers. Yeah, feel free to drop me a message, Danon. I don't think we're going to get to Grixis Dragons today, so I should be able to take it into consideration for the next time we play it. That's a lot of Kumena. Yikes. I think the new mulligan rule sounds awesome. Less garbage games of Magic is a plus. All right. Ready to draw another spell and concede? I like how people have just, like, been consistently talking about the mono blue deck not being great since, like, Gabe Nassif top 8 at a Grand Prix with it last season. And it's just, like, been quietly chipping away, destroying everything while people are just like, this deck's so bad, it's just a budget deck, derpa derpa derpa. Just like, good lord, people. Captain Reynolds, thank you for the 213 sub. Welcome back, I appreciate it. Oh. Let's give this one more try. Yeah, what's his name? Ralph Levy, I think, went 8-2 with Merfolk. Yep. My opponent spent less money than I did, and everybody knows Magic's pay to win. So if they won, they just got lucky. How does Jeff know what I'm saying in my room? It's all those. It's your webcam. You need to put a piece of tape over your webcam. I'm watching and listening. I am the federal government. Look at that. We're gonna play 4 lands in 4 turns, chat. So, one of the things that you need to understand about Magic, especially if you're a new player, is that one of the things that makes Magic both an incredibly deep and complex game that keeps people engaged for a long time, but also makes it incredibly difficult for new players to get better, is that Magic's a game where it's often hard for you to know where you messed up. It's often not easy to be able to look back at a game and go, I lost this game because of this mistake I made at this point. What's going on, Faraday? Thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. And Society, thank you for the 3 months. Thanks for shipping your Beza bucks back this week, and I appreciate it. So, I think I Ritual of Soot. Because I guess I can Karn. I can Karn plus. And then they, like, have to play a Lord and attack Karn. And then my Ritual of Soot gets 3 of their fish. Yeah, a replay and a spectator client would both be great for Arena for sure. I assume we're gonna see a Lord come down here. I wonder if they just, like, have a negate. Oh. They must just have a negate, right? We're just gonna keep casting copies of Ritual of Soot until one of them sticks. Really, that's so weird. Why wouldn't they... Why wouldn't they just play the Lord last turn and kill the Karn rather than letting me get the Ritual of Soot that I know about? And, like, obviously Soot's great in this matchup. I'm just gonna, like, keep playing Ritual of Soot as many as I can get, but it seems really strange to, like, let your things die to the known Ritual of Soot. It's the lighting in my room, Dauber. I don't have any front-facing light, so the light is dictated by the natural light that comes in through my window. I need to get window treatments and an actual front-facing light. I can see my stream, so there's an issue. I'm aware of it. It's our record so far. I don't think we've won a game with this deck or won a match. It's been very bad. Super clunky. Feels much worse than something like Esper or the Jeskai Friends deck we just played. The other thing is too, like, the fact that, like, the biggest glaring thing to this deck is one of the things you want to do, or not do, I should say, when you're playing brews like this is don't play a worse something else. This deck genuinely feels like it should just be, even all things considered, like, you don't want to play typical Esper control, you want to play something with more Planeswalkers. Playing this deck instead of just playing splashing for Esper stuff seems like nonsense. I don't understand why we would want to splash Bedevil and Angrath instead of playing Mortify and Teferi. Feels really out of place, basically. I'm gonna down-tick this and grab the Bedevil here.
Is ever truly lost.
Just grab the other removal spell. And, like, unfortunately, we don't really have any card advantage left after this Karn dies, just because our lands were awkward. I play Paper MTG. I sparingly play Paper Magic, so I play in tournaments mostly when they come up. So this weekend, for instance, my sponsor, Nord Rage Gaming, is having a tournament in Central Illinois near where I live, so I'm going to be playing in that for sure. Yeah, I feel like if you're going to be in Grixis, you want to play something like the Grixis Dragons deck that's up on my website, where you want to be a little bit more proactive. Kind of in a little bit of trouble here, huh? I can, like, 1-for-1 them a bunch, but we're not in a fantastic spot. I'm not a fan of Commander, because Commander isn't well balanced. So, like, competitive Commander decks, you might as well just be playing Legacy or Vintage a lot of the time. And non-competitive Commander decks generally have very disparaging power levels between each other, so they don't create very good games of Magic, in my opinion. Yeah, Grixis is basically forced into being a proactive deck just because if you're not a proactive deck, you don't really have the good tools to be an answer-based control deck. This format really is a testament just to the fact that, like, the power level of cards is format contextual, just like how much better Mortify is than Bedevil on average. So this Thought Erasure combined with the campaign is basically a 5-mana Surveil 1 draw card. Yeah, I agree, Dana, which is why, as someone who's a very competitive person who enjoys playing games competitively, when I play games with other people, I'd much rather just play a board game that's, like, balanced in itself, right? It's also cheaper to play a board game with 6 people than it is for 6 people to have Commander decks. Alright, Disinformation Campaign might let us slog through here, which is nice. Unstable Unicorns is actually really good. It's funny, you know, the first time we played that game, I said to my wife, this feels like, Dice Throne's a good one too. If you haven't played Dice Throne before, if you want card games to play with people that are balanced against each other, Dice Throne and Unstable Unicorns are both great options. Varga, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Dice Throne is basically what I would describe as like my preferred way to play an EDH-like game. Because it's like a card game in a box, basically. Bears versus Babies is weird. I'm not a huge fan. Someone asked why I don't play Limited on stream. I just don't like playing Limited. My favorite part about playing Magic is tuning constructed decks and learning them and improving them. And Limited just doesn't allow you to do that in the same way. I guess double removal spell Nightveil Predator is a keep. So, Dominion is a different kind of self-contained card game than the other two games that I talked about, Ajini. So, Dominion is what we would refer to as a deck-building card game, whereas things like Dice Throne and others aren't deck-building card games. They're card games that you just play with the cards that are there. You don't build and then play. They're a little fundamentally different than Dice Throw or than Dominion. Dominion is what I would group in a category with things like Clank and Ascension, stuff like that. Thanks for being here, Whooper Jones. I have played Shards of Infinity actually. That one released at Gen Con this past summer. Shards of Infinity felt like a little bit more balanced Ascension. Brain X Frozen, thanks for the 10-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm going to go ahead and cast down here just to stem the bleeding a little bit. Was hoping to draw a 2 or 3 mana spell this turn. Will I play Ray Noodle's game? Maybe. I usually try most card games on stream or off stream at some point. Is there a release timeline for his thing? He was Indiegogo, right? Crowdfunded games don't always release with the best timelines. Although maybe I've been hurt by things like Epic and Hex. That is not the Ritual of Soot I wanted for Christmas, unfortunately. Yeah, Christy does a lot of board games. The first year we went to Gen Con was actually because she wanted to go more than anything. Alright, well, Ritual of Soot, we're dead. Got it. Get it, got it, good. I guess I Discovery here, because if I don't find Ritual, I can find a piece of spot removal. Maybe I'm just supposed to Contempt this. I kind of feel like I'm just supposed to go all in digging for Ritual here. That's absurd. I didn't even think about that. I was gonna. All right, I'm done. All right. Well, like every other Grixis deck we've played, other than Dragons this season, this one seems to be a pretty big disappointment. I think the biggest takeaway from this is I don't think there's a compelling reason to play this deck as Grixis as opposed to Esper. I think if you want to play this blue-black Planeswalker theme, I think it's actually kind of okay. Like, Disinformation Campaign actually seems sweet right now. But I think playing Angrath and Bedevil rather than playing Teferi and Mortify is a big miss. So even if you don't want to play traditional Esper control and you want to be base blue-black with a small splash, I think leveraging Teferi plus Mortify would be much better than what this build is doing. Would be my takeaway for ways to try and improve. Alright, so up next we're going to play Jody Keefe's red-black mid-range deck that won the Grand Prix the weekend before the Mythic Championship. I did see Manfield's deck. It's one of the ones I'm going to pull out and talk about in my article this week. I need to unsubbed out, yeah. Whoa. Get the stream decker updated, post on Twitter, and we'll be on our way. No, I don't really get into any of those. I don't really get into any of those games.